Hi, it's Jay Schwanke from Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom, and I'm here today with the West Michigan Home and Garden Show. Typically, I'd be there in person because I'm a West Michigan guy, and I love the people at Showspan. We always have great fun at the West Michigan Home and Garden Show, but this year, COVID-19 had another plan for us. So, we're coming to you virtually, but we're still here to help you experience the fun of flowers, because part of the Home and Garden Show in West Michigan is always flowers. So today, we'll be making a fun arrangement using flower foam and some flowers that are cut short. The interesting thing about cutting the flowers short is that it's going to make them last longer because they don't have a big stem to hydrate and they're closer to the water supply. So today, we'll be working inside this box. It's a wooden box, but down inside the box is a liner, and it's a plastic liner that looks like this. There we go. And that plastic liner is filled with a layer of flower foam. Now, this is a special new foam called Midnight Foam, and it's actually black in color, but it's also biodegradable, which is super great for the environment. I love using flower foam because it allows me to place a flower exactly where I want it to be. It's about strategic placements. So I used a block, I cut it in half, and we've got a small layer that's down inside here about 2 inches. Then I have another small block like this that I've set on top in one corner. And we're going to start there with 2 big pieces of foliage. One of the most popular foliages we see in the marketplace today is called the Monstera leaf. Looks like this. And it's part of the philodendron family. It's one of the most popular houseplants because it's super easy to care for in your home. The other thing is the holes in it are made so that the tropical breezes can blow through the leaf without breaking it. There's legends that say that these were even used as clothing or ornaments or masks by native tribes where they grow indigenously. It's a beautiful foliage and it lasts a long time. These were grown by my friends at Fern Trust down in Seville, Florida. And my friend Brendan grows this crop and he has beautiful Monstera. So what we're going to do is we're going to be making an arrangement that's going to be able to sit on our dining room table or sit on a coffee table that we can talk over. I know that many times people talk about wanting a low arrangement so that they can continue to have a conversation or they can see over it. Using short flowers and leaves the way that we're going to use them today allows us to create an arrangement that's nice and short. So we've got 2 Monstera leaves. One's a little bit bigger than the other. We'll start with the biggest one. And our tools we're using again today are our bypass cutter and our compact pruner that come from Dram. These are available at independent garden centers nationwide. So no matter where you're watching this show, you can go to your independent local garden center and look for the Dram tools. They're part of the Color Point line, which means they come in 6 different colors: purple, blue, green, orange, yellow, and red. Our friends here at Flowerland in Grand Rapids are a great place for you to look for these tools. So what we're going to do is, I find that the bypass cutter and the compact pruner are easy to use in our hands too. So that's a really great way for us to feel comfortable when we're cutting our flowers. So I'm going to take the stem of my Monstera and I'm going to cut it at an angle. Cut it at a 45-degree angle so that it's easier to push into the foam. And I'm going to push it into those 2 blocks that I have setting on top. It's actually going to go all the way down through that into the next layer. And then I'm going to layer this one over the top of that one. So I'm going to cut it a little bit longer and still at an angle and put it in over the top of the other one. Now notice how those are on 2 different planes. And so it's going to make it easy for us to have this beautiful arrangement. The rest of this, we're going to fill in with flowers and other foliage. Here's another fun foliage that we're going to use today. It's called Brunia, and it looks like that. It's actually part of the Protea family, and some people refer to it as Cape Mix because it's available and grown indigenously in the Cape of Africa, in South Africa. So we're going to use some of that Cape Mix, and you'll notice I've cut this up into 2 pieces. I took out the top first and used it there. And then I'm going to use another piece like this on the other side. Because there's only berries at the top, if I cut it there, cut it again, I've got two separate pieces I can use. That's a great way to make my flowers go further. All right. You know what? I've got a few pieces left. That first one's actually going to turn into 3. So now we've got a little base started down in there with all of our different foliages. Here's a relative of the Monstera leaf. It's called Xanadu, and we've used it in another video, but I thought it would be fun to add a couple of those little pieces of Xanadu out on another side. It's going to give it a jungle-like appearance for our whole arrangement. So you'll notice that I can put those leaves and pieces of Brunia exactly where I want them. So now we have an arrangement that looks like this. Now it's time to add some flowers. I'd like to add some of these beautiful free spirit roses. We're actually going to use 5 of those roses. Look at those. They're a garden rose and they have a ruffly appearance. And I like the colors orange and green. They're my 2 favorite colors that go together. And I'm going to make this arrangement in orange and green tones because I think it's an exciting look for us. So I'm cutting my rose short. And what that means is the water doesn't have to travel up all this stem to get to the flower. Now it only has to go up that far. So we're going to be able to place that rose right down inside there. And the water has a much shorter place to go so that it's going to keep the flowers looking great longer. Shorter stemmed flowers actually last longer for us. And the fact that this is entirely lined on the inside, we can keep plenty of our flower food water down inside there to make sure that it lasts for a really long time. I like to go by every day and make sure that there's plenty of water down inside my arrangement. I'm always checking to make sure that there's lots of water in there. So look, that looks wonderful. All right. Now, I think it's time for us to add some carnations. I've told you many times that one of my favorite flowers is a carnation. We used to raise these back in my family's greenhouses in Nebraska. I come from a 4th-generation family flower business, and we used to actually raise carnations back in the 70s. Today, most of the carnations that we have come from South America because it's the perfect place to grow carnations in the entire world. It's always the right temperature and it's the perfect elevation. Look at these. They're orange and they have a beautiful red stripe. So they're going to match those beautiful free spirit roses just perfectly. We're going to cut in and cut these carnations. And what I'm doing is I'm actually cutting the carnations shorter to start with than my roses. See how they're down deep inside? It's a really great opportunity for us to use them down in there and create depth by having different layers of foliage and flowers in our bouquet. It also makes it interesting when people look at our arrangement from the top. So when they're coming in, say we have it sitting on a cocktail table and someone comes in and looks at it, as they're standing over the top of it, it's more interesting to look down inside and see what's going on inside the arrangement. Now these carnations are filling in really nicely. So now we've got carnations down inside there along with our beautiful roses. Now, I think we need one more interesting thing down inside there. And I'm going to use a few of these red mini carnations. The stripe in our orange carnations is red, and the accents on the Free Spirit roses also have a red tonality. So adding this in there is going to keep us in a complementary color scheme, or excuse me, an analogous color scheme, colors that are next to one another. The complementary color scheme comes in with the red and green. So what someone would technically call this is a split complement arrangement, because it has the red and green, but it veers off and grabs some of the orange that's also next to the red on the color wheel. My grandfather was named Carnation Joe Green, and he always wore a red carnation in his lapel. So I really like it when I can incorporate red carnations into any of the arrangements that I make. It gives me great memories. I love that about flowers, because flowers really can inspire memories for us and remind us of specific times. That's one of the health and wellness benefits of flowers, is helping us recall memories and reliving things and being able to have wonderful times that we think about over and over again. So now we've got this beautiful arrangement that could sit on our dining room table. We still have plenty of room to talk over it or look over it. And if we observe it from on top, it's really interesting to look down inside. We're going to coat it with our Chrysal Professional Glory again. This is the anti-transparent that ensures that our flowers are going to last as long as they possibly can. I spray it not only on the foliage, but on the flowers too. I'm going to come back every day and reach down inside here with my finger to feel if I need to add water. When I do, I'll just add more water over the top of that foam so that I keep that foam covered with water inside our arrangement. That way, these beautiful roses and carnations are going to last maybe longer than a week, maybe even 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Shorter flowers last longer for us, especially when we take good care of them. I hope that you've enjoyed these series of videos that were brought to you by our friends at the West Michigan Home and Garden Show. I love performing there, and I can't wait to see you in person next year when we get back together. Until then, make sure you check your local listings for Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom. It's on WGVU here in Grand Rapids, Saturdays at noon. They're showing season 2, and in April, they'll start showing season 3. We've got 13 more new episodes coming your way, and we're starting to film seasons 4 and 5. So there will be plenty more fun with flowers coming your way. Thanks again for joining me today. I hope you learned lots of great things. And be sure to check out my website, ubloom.com, and my YouTube channel, Jay Schwanke, to see more videos about how you can have fun with flowers. Until then, keep having fun with flowers.